You picked the Panthers or the Broncos to win the Super Bowl?
Come on, I told you Broncos would win the game outright, and Von Miller would be the MVP.
Listen to this guy. This is what it's called being a teammate. I'm teeing you up, man. Come on.
Yeah, but knowing you, because you saw me last week, and the first thing you said was, I beat you by one in the contest.
I did. I also picked the Broncos, so you didn't one-up me there. What's happening there, Prisco? Hey, by the way,
how are you guys?
We're doing well.
You make it back safe? You make it back okay?
Yeah, after a long, circuitous, frustrating.
Finally.
Yes, we got here.
Pete, you've been to 1 million Super Bowls. How would you rate the entire Bay Area experience?
Including the game.
The game was too far away. Media day was too far away. The city itself was kind of gross downtown at times.
Wow.
And other than that, it was a good Super Bowl.
God, you get miserable
I
of
mean,
age.
you guys know. You were there. What'd you think?
I thought it was the best week of my life professionally.
We had to go 6 blocks to Radio Row. We didn't have to go to Media Day. You're right, though. It is a hike out to where they held that. Downtown, I mean, BT lived there, so he was used to it. I didn't mind it. There was a lot of homeless people, though. I think that's what you get to.
It's always the case.
The hotel
very aggressive at times.
Very, very. It's in fact, one of the homeless people scared my wife when she was at a one. I think it was Pete's, one of the coffee shops down there. So,
the one on the corner.
Yeah,
Pete's.
Yeah, Pete's. But other than that, it was beautiful.
I was walking with my boss Saturday, and some woman said, "Can you spare $1 for heroin?" I mean, she was honest about it. Like,
wow.
Would you give it to her?
No.
Oh, good.
What if she said weed?
No. You know what I do? I'm bad. I'm a stiff arm. I just keep walking.
Are you? You know what
Yeah.
stinks? I hate this, that this has happened. Talking to Pete Prisco, CBS Sports, of course, NFL columnist. We'll get to the juicy stuff in a minute. I hate that this has happened to me, but it has, and really only because I have much larger responsibilities, namely a son and a wife. And it's funny, I was always really charitable. But I'd always reach in my pocket. I'm not saying I'd hand 20, so I don't have that kind of money. But, a couple of bucks here, somebody's sleeping, I'd stick it under the blanket. Hopefully not touch the blanket, but stick it under. Now it's just like, you know what? I got to afford college, man. And by the time he gets there, it's going to be $90,000 a year. So I don't hook the homeless up anymore, I guess is what I'm saying.
I used to, if I'm in a situation where I could help one or two or whatever I do, I'm like you. I reach in and help. One time, I swear this is a true story. One time in New York City, some guy asked me for money, and I said, well, I got it as 100. And I was half joking, but I think that's all I had in my pocket. And he told me he could make change.
What?
Wow. Resourceful. Okay.
So maybe you didn't really need your 100.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pete, what should we make of Cam's not the post game, because I don't care about that. That's like whatever. But the fact that he comes out and he's unapologetic, should that be, I don't know, should we judge him going forward on the fact that he's a sore loser and an admitted one?
Well, I mean, yeah, like he came out and said he was a sore loser and it clearly showed up. Look, me, it doesn't matter to me if anybody ever talks. It really doesn't. I don't care. We can write around you, we can write down on you, we can do whatever you have to do. If you prop you up and rip you, shred you, whatever.
It's just how you actually feel about the guy. Does this change how you actually feel about Cam? I guess is really the question.
No, because I think legitimately, I think he's grown up and matured. I really believe that up until the Super Bowl and what happened after the game. But he's entitled. But just go there, sit there, answer the questions.
Yep.
And I talked to a bunch of guys. I'm sure you have too, Tiki and Brandon. I mean, guys look at it, players look at it, and they go, bad look for him.
Yeah.
Bad look.
Dude, I had confetti thrown on me when the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl. It wasn't fun. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't the star that Cam was, but still, you just got to answer the question.
I don't think you got beat up like he got beat up, though, Tiki.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shots, but he was just brutalized out there. But, again, go in there and face the music. And I was standing there with Chris. I was in front of Chris Harris when he was talking. Yeah, it was loud. When Wade Phillips was on the podium, we couldn't hear Wade Phillips because the Panthers guys were coming across. But you deal with it. It's not a great setup. You just deal with it. It's what that's what you do as a football player. You adjust a bad situation. I thought he handled it poorly. I thought yesterday it was really bad. He kind of magnified it even worse. But that doesn't bother me. You know what bothers me more than anything?
What's that?
Go for the fumble.
No, that's what I said, Pete. Yeah.
I mean, go for the fumble. In a regular season game, I could half understand it. I mean, you don't, remember Drew Brees tore his shoulder up doing that. You can, okay, in a regular season game where you're playing 16 of them and, you have a great record. I mean, I can half understand it. This is the Super Bowl with the game on the line. Go get the ball. And next year, if you're his teammate and you look at him, you go, boy, I mean, he's going to call me out for something I did. I can always point back to the Super Bowl and say, if you had dove for the football, we might have won that game.
Well, especially for a man whose entire image is crafted and positioned as somebody with superhuman roots.
Right.
Superman.
And the other thing is, by the way, I was just watching because I'm doing a breakdown of that game. I was just watching that play. He kind of holds. He doesn't anticipate the route coming open. Otherwise, it's a 40-yard, 35, 40-yard gain to Funchess, who was wide open. The safety was spinning around like a top. So he kind of patted the ball instead of firing on the break, and it should have been a big play. It was going to be a big play. If Miller doesn't get his hand in there and get the ball out, it's still a big play. But he waited too long. And that's the one thing I watched from him in this game is. In this year, I thought he grew really well as a pocket passer, getting his head from left to right and right to left, and 1, 2, 3, 4. In this game, he was predetermined where he was going, and I think getting hit like that had a tendency to do that at times.
We're talking to Pete Prisco, CBS Sports NFL columnist, Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. So, Pete, which team, based on not only the ability cap-wise, but also maybe the organizational edict to go out there and really supplement the roster with free agent talent. Who do you think is last year the Jets got after were pretty good. Who's that team this year?
2, Jacksonville and Oakland. Both.
Okay. Oh, wow. Go ahead. Okay.
They have the most money to spend, and I can tell you that Jacksonville is in a situation where they will spend as much as they can. I mean, they're going to, by the time they clear out some guys like Toby Gerhardt and Zane Beadle and some other guys, they're going to have nearly $80 million to go spend, for $75 million to $80 million. And they got to win now. So you go sign, think about this, Malik Jackson, Olivier Vernon, and a corner, right? Whether it's Trumaine Johnson or Janoris Jenkins or because, Norman's not getting out of there. And then you add in Fowler and Marks, who didn't play this year, and bring those guys back. There's 5 starters. And then you got the 5th pick. You either get, Miles Jack or Jalen Ramsey or Joey Bosa, one of those guys falls to you, the Buckner kid from Oregon. All of a sudden, you go into next year with 6 new starters, good starters, on your defense, and all of a sudden your team is relevant in that division, which isn't very good.
Yeah, no, you got to love where they're going, especially after you saw some of the growth from Blake Bortles and all those weapons he has offensively. Other team in that division is Indianapolis Colts. They hang on. I mean, they hang on to Pagano. We all know how that all went down with Grigson. But do they fix whatever was ailing them? Because a lot of it was pass protection and Andrew Luck getting banged up and ultimately not playing a bulk of the season. But they just didn't feel like they were a dominant division leader anymore. Did they figure that out or no?
Well, I think getting him back, I've always said that great quarterback cures your ills. And we saw when he's in there, he does cure the ills, even though he didn't play that well last year early in the season. But he carried them the last couple of years and kind of hid their flaws. And then their flaws started bubbling to the surface, and they have a lot of them. And the offensive line is great. They paid Costanzo last year. He didn't play up to that contract, which had to be disappointing. Their pass rushers, Mathis was coming off the injury, but, they busted out on Werner. I mean, they need that guy to do some the year before at 6.5 sacks and then disappeared last year. They thought he was going to be a guy. So, yeah, I think, can they win the division? Yeah, that quarterback's always going to put him in contention to win the division. And that's why if you're the Houston Texans, by the way, you want to go around the division. Texans won the division, but I'd rather be Indianapolis, I'd rather be Jacksonville, I'd rather be Tennessee because they got their quarterback position solved. They don't have that in Houston. So they're going to be the team that takes a little step back unless they fix it.
Hey, Pete, I wanted to ask you this. Back to Denver, but more a league-wide analysis here. I think it's pretty obvious that the way the coaching evaluation, it's been altered. You basically get 2 years to get it going, otherwise you're going to get whacked. And I wonder with, Fox getting fired, Kubiak being brought in, and that paying off, I wonder if other owners will be further emboldened to maybe pull the plug a year earlier. This is kind of a new trend you think we see in the NFL. Does that have any impact on the hiring process and more specifically the firing process of coaches?
You mean should you like getting rid of Fox is the reason they won the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm
this
not
year?
saying that I don't think that I believe that necessarily, but it's what happened literally. So I wonder if other teams will say, "Well, okay, if they did it, it worked. We were going to hold on to this guy for another year. Nah, let's pull the plug and see what happens."
Yeah, but the flip side of that, though, Brandon, is Carolina. I mean, you remember when Gettleman got the job, he kept Rivera for a year.
Yeah.
I remember he didn't have to, and kind of let him play through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you get it two different ways. I don't think it's going to be any quicker. I think the trigger is becoming really quick now. I mean, you barely get any time to do anything, and then you're out. So, no, I don't think it's going to get – it's going to be, two and done or, but it's good. The pressure to win is now. These owners are impatient. They spend a ton of money. They want to get to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think it's still going to be about the same. But sometimes you got to just let it marinate a little bit and let the guy – build it a little bit and then see what happens. I mean, there are so many situations around the league where if you looked at it and you said, oh, boy, if he got another year, he might have won the thing, and I'm going to go to New York right there. What's the point of firing Coughlin and putting Ben McAdoo in?
I agree.
We're so past. Yeah, we agree. We agree. We're past that. As a matter of fact, we don't even have a whole lot of time here. But we told whatever you were about to say about Coughlin, trust me,
Yep.
We said it, and we completely agree.